Next presenter is Shaylyn Grier, speaking on metabolic programming of CAR T cells, engineering memory.
As humans, we need air, water, food, and shelter to survive. But take a moment and think to yourself, how do I thrive? Personally, I prefer coffee over tea, but I'm sure there's hundreds of details in your everyday life that make it yours. That said, it's no surprise that cells, the very things that make you you, have requirements and preferences also. Recently, CAR T cell therapy has become a patient treatment option for the treatment of especially resistant hematological cancer types. Uniquely, it takes the patient's T cells and genetically engineers them to express a special receptor and administers those cells back to the patient. This way, it's the patient's own cells fighting the cancer. This is exciting. Rather than a one-size-fits-all, CAR T cells adapt to patient biology and target cancer cells. But unfortunately, patients affected by multiple myeloma have not been able to experience the full benefits of CAR T cell therapy. Successes are short-lived, and many patients face relapse just 9 months post-remission. This is in part because T cells become exhausted, and they stop growing, stop killing cancer cells, and even forget their very important job to do. As a researcher who is interested in ways of optimizing the CAR T cell manufacturing process, I am curious as to what makes T cells survive and thrive. But first, I want to understand how T cells metabolize serine, formate, glucose, and glycine in order to break them down and use them into usable components. You see, cells break down the nutrients around them and use them to make components for DNA. I am interested in how T cells use metabolism during the manufacturing process to bolster their memory capacities. Then, by identifying this, I am interested in how we can actually use these metabolites to program T cells during manufacturing and help them maintain their capacity. I want to do this by dosing the T cells during the manufacturing process with concentrates of these metabolites, essentially programming them. Through this approach, we believe we can engineer memory. Earlier, I asked you how you survive and thrive. To that question, I offer you a simple answer. If our cells are surviving and thriving, we are surviving and thriving. By engineering memory in CAR T cells through metabolic programming, I hope to make surviving and thriving an option for patients with even the most complex cancers. Thank you.